Hello students, today we are going to discuss the topic is physical features of India. If you are looking around the India, we can see almost all type of features like mountains, plains, plateau, desert, deltas, everything, as India is rich with various features. And these physical features are sometimes somewhere are affected by some factors. Now what can be the factors? The factors can be erosion, deposition, earthquake, volcanism. All these are factors which can affect the physical features. Now scientists are describe the formation of these features by some theories. Plate tectonic is one of that theories. Before getting into the various features of India, we will first discuss the plate tectonic theory. Actually, India is not only India, the entire world are formed by some plates. Okay, the plates are 7 large and some minor plates. That means 7 main and some minor plates are there. These plates are upon a layer. Okay, the layer is like jelly. Now, there are 3 types of plates. The first one is convergent. This plates have some boundaries actually. This plates have some boundaries. This boundaries has a 3 types. First type is convergent plate boundary. The second type is divergent plate boundaries. And the last one is transformed. Transformed plate boundary. Now, what is the convergent, divergent and transformed plate boundaries? Suppose these two are the plates. Fine. Now, when two plates are getting closer to each other, if they are moving towards each other, that is known as the convergent plate boundary. If these plates are getting far from each other, instead of coming to each other, if these plates are getting far from each other, in that case, this plate will known as the divergent plate boundary. Fine. Now coming to the transformed plate boundary. When the two plates will move parallelly. This plate boundary is known as the transformed plate boundary. For convergent plate boundary, there whenever two plates are coming to each other, that may crumble, that may collide or that may shrink to each other. As a result, here we can feel the earthquake like this. And divergent plate boundary, where the two plates are getting far from each other. Okay, there we can feel volcanoes, earthquake, this kind of natural disasters. And for the transformed plate boundary, they are moving very slowly, and if you are feeling though the earthquake, that will be very less. Fine. So here we discussed about the plate boundaries, that is a plate tectonic theory, depending upon which the Indian physical features, the physical features are grown up. Okay, now we will move to the various physical features which we are having. We are having 6 physical features of India. What are they? The Himalayan mountains or northern mountains. Number 2 is northern plains. Number 3 is the desert. Okay. Number 4 is peninsular plateau or peninsular plateau region. 5 is coastal plain and number 6 is island. Fine. Here first we will discuss about the northern mountain. See here, this portion, the uppermost portion is the northern mountain where it's marked as 1. Number 2, just after the northern mountains is northern plains. This green, light green portion is northern plain. Next is number 3, that is the desert. The yellow portion, that is the desert. That means the western portion of India. The peninsular plateau is the middle portion, little bit deep yellow. This is the peninsular plateau region. Next, the lines around the coast, deep green portion, the 5 is the coastal plain, and this out of India, it's not actually out of India, out of the mainland of India, this area is the island. Here is the Andaman and Nicobar Island, here is the Lakshadweep Island. Fine. Next, first we'll discuss the Himalayan mountains. These Himalayan mountains are having 3 portions. We'll come into that in later. The Himalayas are young and the full mountain. It stretches over the northern border of India. See, here the entire northern portion has covered. Covering the distance about 2400 km or 2400 km. The width of the Himalayan mountains varies. Whenever we are talking about India only, it varies from Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh, where in Kashmir its width is 400 km. Same in Arunachal Pradesh, the width is 150 km. That means it's getting shrink in Arunachal. We can divide the Himalayan mountains into 3 parts. That is the Great Himalaya or Himadri or Inner Himalayas. That is the number 1 portion. The next one is, the second one, Lesser Himalaya or Himachal. And third or last one is Shivalik Range. First of all, we'll describe the Greater Himalaya, which is covering the entire northern portion, almost. It's the extreme north of India. The northmost range is known as the Himadri. It is most continuous range. Okay, here the ranges are continuous and the average height is 600 meters. Okay, it contains the prominent hills, peaks actually, prominent peaks like Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, etc. Kanchenjunga is the highest peak which we can find in India. Everest we are not finding in India. Okay, just keep this in your mind. We can find the Everest in Nepal. The average height of the Mount Everest is 8,848 meters. Though due to a fold mountain, the Himalaya is getting a rapid change in height for every year, but we can consider the average height is 8,848 meters. Now we will describe about the regional divisions of Himalayas. Before getting into that, see, here has some divisions. Like this portion is the Karakoram range. This green portion is the Western Himalayas, this green portion. Blue one is Central Himalaya and light pink is the Eastern Himalayas. Fine. Now, the Himalayas are also divided on the basis of regions from west to east. This demarcation is done by the river valleys. In the west, the part of Himalayas lies between the Indus and Sutlej has been traditionally known as the Punjab Himalaya. But it is also known regionally as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from the west to east respectively. Fine. The part of Himalayas lies between the Sutlej and Kali river is known as the Kumaon Himalayas. The Kali and Tista river demarcates the Nepal Himalaya, and the part lying between Tista and Dihang river is as the Assam Himalayas. Dihang, the another name of Dihang is the Brahmaputra, the eastern coast. Okay. So, we have already discussed the various divisions of Himalayas. Now, we will discuss about the northern plains. This plain is formed by three river systems. Now, what are the river systems? That is the Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra along with their tributaries. This plain is formed by the alluvial soil. It's spread over an area of 7 lakh square kilometer. The muds, the silts is getting by the rivers are depositing in some particular places. By these three rivers which plain has formed, that is known as the northern plain. Okay, the rivers splits into a number of canals in their lower course due to the deposition of silt. These canals are called distributaries. Now, parts of northern plain. These plains are actually densely populated. Now, what can be the reason for the dense population? The fertile soil. The fertile soil is very rich for cultivation, and where we can get the cultivation, we are able to get the food grains and people can survive. Adequate water supply, as it's made by the river canals, river valleys. So, it's very natural we will get the adequate water from the rivers. Favorable climate. Here, it's neither too cold nor too hot. Okay, that means the people can adapt the climate. So, this can be the reasons to get settled over here. Now, we'll getting into the parts of northern plain. There are three parts, that is Punjab plain, Ganga plain and Brahmaputra plain. Okay, the western part of this plain has formed by the Indus and its the tributaries. Okay, the large part of this plains lies in Pakistan. The Jhelum, Ravi, Satluj, Beans, Chenab originates in Himalayas, and it helps to form the plains in the Punjab. Fine. Now, the section of the plains dominated by Doab. Doab means two words. Okay, there are two words, do, ab. Do means two and ab means water. Similarly, like Punjab, Panj means 5 and ab means water. Next is Ganga plain. It's the middle part of the plain. It's extended from of Ghaggar river to the Tista river. Okay, broad in states of Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, etc. The last one is Brahmaputra plain. It is the eastern part of the plain. It extends from Assam to Bangladesh. Now, region of northern plains. The northern plain is divided into 4 regions, that is Bhabar, Tarai, Bhangar and Khadar. Here you can see it's Doab. We already have discussed. Though see here 2 rivers. The 2 rivers are describing the Doab. Do to Ab is river. Now getting back to the Bhabar. Okay. Whenever the rivers are getting off from the mountains, the rivers deposit the pebbles in a narrow belt. Okay. lying parallel to the slope of Shivalik is known as the Bhabar. All the rivers disappears in the Bhabar belt. Next, Tarai. The streams and rivers remerge and create a wet swampy region known as the Tarai. Earlier it was a thick forest with lots of wildlife, but now most of the forests have cleared for agriculture. Third one is Bhangar. Here see the Bhangar. The largest part of northern plain consisting of older alluvium are known as the Bhangar. The alluvium which already has got old. See here, the river are going through this way, and here they are depositing in Khadar portion, they are depositing sills, alluvium, etc. But Bhangar has already created by the river also. This yellow portion, Bhangar, it has deposited earlier. That is why it's a older alluvium. Next, the Khadar is the lowest region, is the flood plain known as the Khadar. Floodplains, why it's known as a floodplain? When the rivers are getting flooded, okay, then the water is getting overflowed through these regions, and whenever it's overflowed, all the deposited things like mud, sand, sills, etc. are depositing over these areas beside the river. That is why it's known as the floodplain. Okay, and this area is so fertile. As it is fertile, it's very good for cultivation. Now we will describe about the Peninsular Plateau. This is a tableland made of igneous and metamorphic rock. Okay, it was formed due to the breaking up or drifting of Gondwana land. Thus, it's a part of the oldest landmass. See here, we can find this portion is the Western Highland region, as it's in separately west. Next, the yellow is Central Highland region. This eastmost portion is Eastern Highland region. This is well known, the Deccan Plateau, the middle brown. This thin portion is Western Ghat mountain range, and this is the Eastern Ghat mountain range. Okay. First of all, we'll discuss about the Central Highland. Okay. This is the part lying north of the Narmada river, which cover most of the Malwa Plateau. The Vindhya range is bounded by the Central Highland on the south, Aravalli is on the northwest. Okay, its extension towards west gradually merge with the desert of Rajasthan. Now, the Central Highlands are wider in west but narrow in the east. In Eastern age, it consists of the area known as the Bundelkhand and Baghilkhand. The Chota Nagpur Plateau marks the further extension in the east, drained by the Damodar River. Next, we will describe about the Deccan Plateau. This is a triangular landmass lying to the south of the river Narmada. Base of the Satpura range form its north, while the Mahadev Hills and the Kaimur Hills and the Maikal range form its the eastern extension. Okay, Deccan Plateau is higher in the west and slopes gently in the east. We'll show you a picture of Deccan Plateau later. Next, we'll describe about the Western and Eastern Ghats. This Ghats marks the east and west edges of the Deccan Plateau. The Western Ghat, also known as Sahyadri Range, it parallel to the western coast. Okay, the east and western Ghat causes rain by forcing the rain-bearing moist monsoon wind actually to rise along the western slope of the Ghats. Anaimudi, Doda Beta are some well-known peaks of this area. The Eastern Ghats stretch from the Mahanadi Valley to the Nilgiris in south. The Eastern Ghats are discontinuous and irregular. See here, this is the Deccan Trap region. Okay. The western part of the plateau as Deccan Trap, it's known as the Deccan Trap, consists black soil of volcanic region. That means it's made of the rocks or the things that we are getting from volcanism. The rocks are igneous and black in color. Okay. And this black soil is famous for cotton cultivation. So these were the description of peninsular plateau. Now we will get into the Indian desert. So the Indian desert or Thar desert. It lies the western part of the Aravalli hills. See this portion or this portion. Here we have the Aravalli range, which is not showing here actually. The western part of Aravalli range is the Indian desert. It consists of sandy plains. The plains are sandy. That means sands are much more here and very low rainfalls, even less than 150 mm per year. Okay. Because of that, here we are having the cactuses. And vegetation is very less. Here the streams appears only during the monsoon seasons. Luni is the only large river in this region. Okay. Crescent-shaped sand dunes are called the barhans, cover most of the deserts. But longitudinal dunes are also seen on the western edge of the region near the Indo-Pakistan border. Okay, this desert, as I told you earlier, is known as the Thar desert. Now next, we will move to the coastal plains. Okay, as you know, the coastal borders. Now, the peninsular plateau is a border of narrow coastal strips running along the Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal in the east. See here, this is the Bay of Bengal and here is the Arabian Sea. See here, very much coast we can see Utkal coast, Andhra coast, Coromandel coast, here the Malabar coast, here the Konkan coast, and we have so many lakes like Chilka, it's a well-known lake, Pulicat, Vemnad lake. Okay, so it's consisting of 3 sections. What are the 3 sections? The northern part of the coast is called Konkan, that is Mumbai and Goa. See here, Konkan. The central stretch is called the Kannad Plains, central portion. The southern stretch as the Malabar coast. Here it's the Malabar coast. Okay. The plains which lies along the Bay of Bengal is more wide and level. Rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri have formed the extensive deltas on the coast. Lake Chilka is the largest saltwater. See here, Chilka Lake, which I already have marked earlier. Chilka is in Orissa. Okay, it's famous as the winter. In winter, the migratory birds used to come here in a large amount. It lies to the south of Mahanadi Delta. Now, the last one we will describe about the island. Okay, the island groups of India. Actually, India has two island groups. It is the Andaman Nicobar Island and the Lakshadweep Island group. First, we will discuss about the Lakshadweep. Okay, it lies close to the Malabar coast. As you already have seen, where is the Malabar coast? Its Lakshadweep is near to the Malabar coast in Kerala. This group of island is composed of small coral island. Earlier, they were known as Lakshadweep, Minicoy and Amindevi. In 1973, these were named as Lakshadweep. Okay. Kavaratti Island is the administrative headquarter of the Lakshadweep. Now moving to the Andaman Nicobar Island. Okay. There are two chains of densely forested island. The entire group of island is divided into two broad categories in India. The Andaman in the north and Nicobar in the south. So, in north Andaman, in south is Nicobar. These islands are believed to be an elevated point of submarine mountains. The southernmost tip of this island is known as the Indira Point, which is already submerged, but it known as the southernmost tip of India also. For the mainland it's Kanyakumari, but for the entire India the Indira Point is known as the southernmost tip. Okay. India's only active volcano is which is Barren Island is found on here in Andaman Nicobar Island. There is a great diversity of flora and fauna in this group of island also. So these were the entire descriptions of the various physical features of India. Now if we are coming to the conclusion, we can see the mountains are major source of water and forest wealth. The northern plains are the granaries of the country, which provides the best of early civilizations. The plateau is the storehouse of the minerals. Okay. And which is helping for the industries and all. Next, the coastal region and island groups provide sites of fishing, port related activities. Okay, thus the diverse physical features of land have immense future possibilities for development. For today, up to this, thank you.